Hi, this is Tara with Happy Horoscopes, and this is just kind of a quick check-in during the middle of, well, no, not quite the middle. Well, we're already in Taurus season. I'm not going to sit here and do the math right now. Anyway, I hope you're having a wonderful Taurus season so far. The weather's starting to change around me. At least it's starting to get a little bit warmer. It's a little bit up and down, but that's okay. We're heading in the right direction towards the warm, which is what always makes me happy. So we're all good. Two important transits that are happening coming up next week on May 10th that I want to talk to you about. Okay. One is very significant, very empowering. The other is also empowering, but a little more common. So let's talk about the common one first. Mercury is going to be going retrograde. Mercury is going to be retrograding into Gemini. Don't hide under the bed. Don't go into panic mode. It happens 4 times a year. It's fine. You're going to see all kinds of things. What not to do, how to protect yourself, what to watch out for. Personally, I like Mercury retrograde. To me, it's a reminder to slow down, to think a little bit, to be a little bit more mindful. And mindfulness is always beneficial. You know, we go through, especially, you know, with so much going on in all of our lives, you tend to go through the motions a lot in life. You know what I mean? Like, you get up, you get dressed, you go to work, you come home, you make dinner, you do this, you drive the same way to work every day. You drive, you kind of, you're in patterns. And I feel like what Mercury retrograde does, it gives us an opportunity to recognize those patterns when they go awry. Maybe not the best way to recognize something, but that's what the universe is trying to help you see. The universe is trying to help you see what patterns could you change and make them work better for you. Okay. Now, Mercury is going to be going retrograde. And by the way, Mercury retrograde, here's the other thing to keep in mind. It's all an illusion. Okay? Planets don't spin backwards. Planets only go one way. Okay? The whole reason for Mercury retrograde, going way, way back, is because the Earth spins on an ellipse. We're not like a straight kind of a circular motion. We're kind of, I don't know all the signs involved, but we're on an ellipse. So when Mercury's in a certain place in the sky, and the way that we happen to be spinning, when we look at Mercury, which is the closest planet to us, it appears to be turning backwards. It's not. It's an illusion. It's all in our minds. And that's why I want you to be particularly mindful during this Mercury retrograde. Mercury is going to be retrograding into Gemini. Gemini is an air sign. It's the sign of the twins. And I always like to think of Gemini as, if you've ever heard of that, the angel on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder, that's what Gemini is all about. Gemini is all about those arguments in your head. Should I, shouldn't I? Gemini helps you to see both sides of a situation, which can be good, but can also be can kind of bring in some confusion. Because then it's like you're so bombarded with, and everything looks so good that it's hard to make a choice. But we'll get into Gemini when Gemini season comes. What I want you to pay, or what I hope you can focus on during this Mercury retrograde, is your mind, is your thoughts. This is where, when we did our reading for the month, Cancer the Nurturer was the energy that was moving away from us, okay? The Mercury retrograde really ties in nicely to this card, because this is a good time for you to think of those thoughts that are doing you no good and get them out of your mind. Change them. Transmute them into a thought that will be beneficial for you. What habits do you have that just don't work for you anymore? What thoughts do you have? You know, one very common thing that always happens to me during Mercury retrograde is traffic. It probably probably happens to you too. I live in a busy area. There's a lot of traffic. I always get to, it's already, quite honestly, it's already started. So instead of saying to myself, oh, I'm trapped, I'm stuck, what am I going to do? I've learned to think to myself, okay, how else can I get to work? What back roads are there? What map can I pull up on my phone? Or, well, you shouldn't be looking at your phone while you're driving. What other ways can I think of to get to where I need to go? And what am I going to discover along the way? I'll tell you what, by being forced to get off of the main highway that I normally take to work, I found so many cool places, places to eat, places to do things, places that I might never have seen if I were just going in my normal motion. So that's one side of it, is finding new thoughts. The other side of it is, what thoughts are not nurturing you? What thoughts are making you feel bad about yourself? This is a time to recognize those thoughts, get them out of your head. I'm not a big believer in looking backwards, but sometimes Mercury retrograde will bring stuff up from the past. And if it's in your present, it's hard for you not to look at it. And you should look at it, because if it comes into your present, then it wants to be noticed. Look at it and try to be as objective as possible and say, what is this doing for me? It's already over. Why am I even thinking about it anymore? Whoosh, go away. Goodbye. Believe me, I know it's not that easy. And I hope you realize I'm not coming off as being flip or cavalier about anything, okay? But what I am hoping is that you will learn to be nicer to yourself and to recognize, to use this Mercury in retrograde time period to learn how to have those positive, uplifting, happy thoughts about yourself and about your present situation, because that is what's going to project you forward into all kinds of good things, all the things that you deserve. How can you expect the universe to give you to present you with what you deserve if you're not feeling deserving of it? This is your chance to take a look, take a hard look at those things in your mind that are hurting you, those thoughts you have that are making you feel bad about yourself, and change them or move them along. Okay? So that's Mercury retrograde. Otherwise, live your life. Just be aware of it. It's good to be aware of it. Go a little slower, plan a little more, give yourself more time for things. Personally, I always like to travel during Mercury retrograde. I am traveling later this month, but I'm not sure if we're still going to be in the retrograde or not. We might be, actually, probably at the end of it. For some reason, I'm always traveling at the end of Mercury retrogrades. So what I've learned is just to, plan a little more ahead, pack a little more, leave a little earlier, expect delays, and have a plan for when those delays happen. And then it just, then you're using your mind, you're using your thoughts in a very positive way too, to think of happy situations for yourself no matter what. No matter what is in your present, you can control how you feel and how you're acting, and you want it to be your happiest self. And that's what I feel like Mercury retrograde, especially Mercury in Gemini, is going to give us an opportunity to do. So the second transit, and this is a big one, Jupiter on May 10th is going to be moving out of Pisces and into Aries. So it's coming out of the dreamy, imaginative water sign, and it's moving into good old action-oriented, let's make it happen, Aries. This is wonderful, powerful energy for you. That's why I want you to clean your thoughts up and make them positive and happy before you have Jupiter and Aries, because Jupiter and Aries make stuff happen. What are you going to do with this energy? You've been, Jupiter in I just lost my mind there for a second. Jupiter in Pisces has been, I was thinking Jupiter and Neptune, but that would be very bizarre. Anyway, Jupiter in Pisces has been letting your imagination fly with all kinds of happy things. And it's been letting you, really see all the good stuff in your present. It's always important. I cannot emphasize this enough. Be happy where you are. You are exactly where you are supposed to be. I know it's not always easy, but find the good, find the positive, because then you're feeling good. And as you're feeling good, the law of attraction, they don't call it a law for anything, okay, for nothing. It's a law. If you feel good, if you feel positive, if you know you are where you are supposed to be, and you are always going to be where you are supposed to be, then where you want to be is going to turn into where you are. That sounded really more confusing than it did in my head. Hopefully, you don't have to watch this or listen to me a couple of times to really get the gist. I think you get where I'm going here. Be happy in the present, and that's going to take you into your happiest future, okay? This is a good time. Feel your emotions, okay? Work with that sacral energy chakra, okay? That's really, it's a very receptive energy. It's a passionate energy. And it's a good time when Jupiter, you've been using your imagination and your wishes and your dreams. Now it's time to turn those into reality. You've got Jupiter in a fire sign, Jupiter, the planet of expansion, in a fire sign, while the sun is in earthy Taurus. Taurus, the planet, Taurus, the sign of earthly pleasures, if you will. Okay. So I was kind of like, when I was thinking about this, I was imagining in my head camping. Okay. You go camping, you go out into nature. It's beautiful. It's beautiful just as it is. It gets a little darker. It gets a little colder. You want to add something to the beauty. You build a campfire. That's kind of what Jupiter in Aries is. Where you are is beautiful. It's wonderful. It's exactly where you're supposed to be. You're enjoying it. You're loving it. But now you've got Jupiter in Aries. You can build more into that to make it even better, to brighten it up, to warm it up, to liven things up. Whatever it is that you're after, Jupiter in Aries can help you get it. Be mindful, stay positive, and work with this energy. It's all about taking those dreams and turning them into reality. Because the greatest dream in the world, it's beautiful and everything. But we are material people. We're living in a material world. And that's what I love about Taurus. I think Taurus really reminds us of that. And Taurus encourages us to enjoy all the good stuff, the reasons that we are on Earth, the reasons that we are having this material existence, and enjoy those things. And this kind of energy, Jupiter and Aries, can really help you bring that stuff back to you. Like I mentioned before, I am not I typically don't advise looking backwards. I try not to look backwards, and it took me a lot of years to work on that too. So, I know that's not easy. It's very easy to fall into that pattern. But the last time Jupiter was in Aries was 2010, 2011, which is also around the time frame, of course, that Jupiter was in Pisces too, because that's the flow. It's flowing through the zodiac, and it goes from Pisces, and then the dream state into the action state. Okay. And when I looked back, when I thought about 2010, 2011, it was a super pivotal year for me. That time period. I mean, I came out of one situation and moved into whole new situations that were so good for me and so beneficial. But nothing changed until my attitude changed. And it's so funny because I was telling a friend about this. I can remember standing in a train station and just actually feeling the shift, feeling all of a sudden my mind going from desperation to hope. My beliefs going from nothing's ever going to change to knowing for certain things were about to change in a big way and be really good for me. And they were. But it wasn't anything significant that happened at that particular time. It was just, it was an action that I took. I was going, I won't go into the whole story or anything, but I can remember. So when you're looking back and you're remembering, try to look for those kinds of things, okay? Try to look for those good memories. It's all over with anyway. You're not going to live it again. It's done. So whatever was bad, leave it back there. Whatever was good, if you feel like that memory can help you now and help you say, hey, you know what? I got out of that. I can get out of this. I can change. That changed. This is going to change. Everything is always changing. Then do it. Okay. Remember that no matter how, whatever you do, you're under the spell of protection. Okay. You are being protected. The universe has your 6. I saw that on the back of a truck yesterday and I just totally dug it. You're okay. And things are getting better for you every single day. That's what the universe wants you to know. That's where the energy is taking you. So May 10th, be aware of those things happening. Be mindful. Stay positive. And start taking actions towards your dreams. This is the time. Hopefully all along you have been taking action. You have been, if you're looking for a new job, you've been applying to stuff. If you're looking for a new home, you started looking for new stuff. Whatever it is that is your goal, you have been, taking steps towards it. Now might be time to amplify your game. And you're going to feel that energy too, because you're going to feel that Aries energy where it's going to want you to take an action. And this is also a time when you start to see your actions turn into actual things, actual material. If you're looking for a job, all of a sudden interviews happen. If you're looking for a home, all of a sudden maybe funding shows up, or you get my drift. This is when all of those dreams are starting to turn into reality. So watch for that. Pay attention to your intuition. It's going to be very strong during this kind of energy. And you want to be paying attention to it and following it, because it's going to lead you in the perfect direction. Okay. I will be back around May 16th. Oh, when is that? Well, that's all right. I will do my best to be back before May 16th, because we're going to have a very powerful lunar eclipse, and it's a full lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio during our full moon. And I want to talk to you a little bit about that, about the benefits that we're going to get from that. And until then, I hope you continue to enjoy the Taurus energy, enjoy this time of year, and I'm wishing you lots of love and light and positive, happy thoughts.